Hi, gun people. There's an interesting little article about a sheriff's patrol car involved in a crash. Thought I'd put a little legal aspect behind it, show the double standard of government and citizens. So if you read the article, deputy suffered injuries as a crash, 3 a.m. The deputies responding code 3. Code 3 is with emergency lights and sirens when the patrol car was struck. The patrol car was struck by a passenger side. Video footage of the witness shows the patrol car proceeding slowly through the intersection through a red light, which means he didn't have the right of way, when it was struck by a truck who did have the right of way. Doesn't say that. The involved deputy was taken to the hospital with cuts to his head and injuries. No other vehicles desired to be taken to the no other vehicles. No one in other vehicles desired to be taken to the hospital. I was at the red light. All the cars were stopped. Some whiplash. I'll be okay. The deputy was fortunate. He looked pretty beaten up. The driver of the pickup truck was not arrested or cited. Are you freaking kidding me? Why would he be arrested or cited? Let's take a look at this crash. So here's a patrol car facing the other way, stopped at his red light. Notice the light on top? That means this red stopped. When this patrol car runs through and gets hit. So the patrol car will be coming at you. This car comes in. This patrol car runs the red light. Doesn't wait like this officer. Runs the red light. This car, who has a green light, the right of way, hits the patrol car. And the paper says he wasn't arrested. Why should he be arrested? I mean, not to mention his car got trashed. So this is the I guess the camera inside the deputy's car. But red light, cop, cars going through green light like they're supposed to. Notice this car went through his green light like he was supposed to. Car behind him, following him, sees him going through the green light, continues through the green light like most normal people would, and patrol car pulls in front of him. And the news media said the driver of the pickup truck, this driver, was not arrested or cited. Why would he be arrested or cited? Well, the vehicle code says you got to yield to emergency vehicles, but let's take a look at a couple vehicle code sections here. And this is where knowing the law becomes important. Upon immediate approach by an authorized emergency vehicle sounding a siren, which has at least one red light, blah, 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 atmospheric light, blah, blah. A person driving a vehicle preferred lane shall exit the lane immediately. As soon as he can, exit can be accomplished with reasonable safety, meaning you don't have to run people like I see idiots do, running people off the road in order to get out of the car of an emergency vehicle. That emergency vehicle is requesting the right of way, and you don't have to drive like a maniac and endanger everybody just to get out of their way. The operator of every vehicle and every car shall immediately stop, clear the intersection, and remain stopped until the emergency vehicle is passed. Okay, so this says what citizens are required to do. Here's a section they never want to talk about. Let's look at this little section right here. Does not relieve the driver of the vehicle to drive with due regard for the safety of all persons on the highway. So even though police officers' emergency sirens are exempt under this section, it does not relieve the driver of that emergency vehicle from the duty to drive with due regard for the safety of persons using the highway, nor protect him of the consequences of an arbitrary exercise of the privileges granted by this section. So it's a privilege for emergency vehicles to be driven in that way because they have people pulling over. It does not relieve an officer to drive like a maniac and run red lights to where people don't see you and they hit you and then the media wants to talk about arresting the driver of the car that didn't do anything. And to make it clear in the California legislative information, 21807 of Vehicle Code, this section 21806, shall not operate to relieve the driver of unauthorized emergency vehicle from the duty to drive with due regard for the safety of persons and property, which is exactly what that officer did when he ran this light. He, the officer, drove without due regard to the safety of the people using the highway, caused an accident, violated the vehicle code, was not covered. Now the big question, how many people think this cop got a ticket? How many think Johnny on the spot, CHP, some donut-eating cop, was on the spot saying, hey, I'm just out here trying to keep people safe? That's why they tell us they write everyone else tickets. That's why they're out there committing road piracy every time you turn around, writing everybody they can for everything because they ain't got nothing else better to do than harass decent citizens who are trying to get to work or live their life. That's what they tell us. Yet when they violate the law, where's Johnny on the spot cop giving him a ticket? Where's the cop, the police chief out here saying, hey, we got to write more tickets? You know, we got to stop these cops from running red lights and endangering people. It doesn't happen. I'm telling you, man, we are turning into a damn communist country. Every time I turn around, the use of force that cops are using and being justified. And now I'm telling you, man, when I was a cop, if I'd have done this, they would have absolutely wrote me a ticket, and I would have got written up for violating policy of not clearing my intersection before I ran through it. This cop is absolutely wrong, and they're making him look like the poor victim, and the news media is like all happy because they didn't arrest the truck driver, who was not arrestable by any means, shape, or manner. He was following the law, going with traffic on a highway with a green light. Boy, people better wake the hell. I just can't believe the way this country's going and the protection that cops are getting when they're wrong. I don't mind protecting cops who are right, but protecting cops who are wrong, it just puts them in the same category as the crooked lying, no good politicians that are making the laws and ripping us off and spinning our country into oblivion with, overtaxation and overspending and opening the borders, telling us diversity is our strength. It's just freaking crazy. Our country is going to hell in a handbasket fast. Wow. All right, we'll end that there.